welcome to Eyes on the Game. There's a lot going on in the fight world. I love talking about it. Everybody knows that. And we are here live in Las Vegas, Nevada. As you guys can see, joining me is the beautiful Jessica Bakan Hoy. You'll be making your Invicta debut at Invicta 18. First off, congratulations. And how does that feel?
Thank you. I'm so excited. It's been a long time coming. I've had a lot of fights fall out on me in the past, and so actually getting to get to Invicta, which was a big goal of mine, is kind of dream control. True, I guess.
Yeah, and because I did read a bit, about your story, how after just a couple amateur fights and no one wanted to fight you, right?
Yes, it's true. In the Washington circuit, I had 2 amateur fights pretty close together, and then nobody wanted to fight me. I kept getting people signing up for fights, and then they drop out 1 or 2 weeks before the actual fight, and they were never able to find replacements, or I'd get a replacement for a week, and then they drop out.
Wow.
So I had 8 fights fall through on me before I got my first pro fight.
Wow, and so this will already be actually just your second pro fight,
Yes.
and it will be in Invicta against Aspen Ladd, and she's undefeated, 3-0 in that promotion. So how have you and your camp been, prepping for her?
We've been just expanding my box of tools in fight technique, making sure my stand-up is on point. I have a reach advantage, so I definitely want to be using that a lot. Making sure my ground game is solid. She's very good on the ground and has great takedowns, so I've been working a lot of striking, takedown defense, and that groundwork.
And also, I just want to bring this up because I do know that you are very busy. You're a mother of 3 children, and I have to say, kind of seeing it, seeing my brother have 4 kids himself and how busy he is. How are you able to balance and juggle, being a pro athlete at such an elite level and also a great mom?
Well, I definitely have to make sacrifices in all aspects. There's definitely been times where I haven't been able to make it to practice because I have sick kids, or I've had to move my training schedule around because they have something at school we have to do. But mostly we have a really good team structure at home. My kids help with chores, they help make dinners, and we're all very supportive of each other. They also train at Syndicate MMA, so they get to get kind of a little bit of feel of what training is, and before that they watched me on the mat a lot when we were back in Washington. We called them little mat kids.
How old are they?
Now they're 11, 9, and 7.
And do they watch your fights?
I pre-screen them. If I win the fight, then they get to watch it, but I would never let them watch it live just in case it went poorly for me and they get traumatized.
So, but how did your journey start? And I'm just curious, how did this MMA journey begin?
That's a big question. Well, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be involved in martial arts, but my parents weren't incredibly supportive of that. They, of course, didn't want to see me get injured. Begged and begged to be on the wrestling team, but they said I'd get ringworm or break my nose, and I was very bitter about it because my brother got to wrestle, but I didn't. And then when I met my husband, he was very into MMA, and so he introduced me to watching it, and I was very excited by it, and was interested in learning techniques, especially in grappling, because I had come from a domestic violence situation before that. And having those skills were important to me. And fighting has really helped strengthen me through that as well. But then it really came out when I saw a live UFC event in, I don't remember what year anymore.
Yeah,
but I got
a while ago, right?
Yeah, I got really excited by the energy of it, and just knew I had to get in there and start training because I wasn't getting any younger.
But did you ever know that this would end up being, something that you would become so great at, and to now potentially, I've heard in recent interviews that one of your goals, obviously, to get into the UFC. Is this that something you always saw yourself doing?
Definitely not always. I
Yeah.
mean, when I first started looking at MMA, I was like on YouTube watching some Anderson Silva fights,
Yeah.
getting really excited about it. Then saw my first WMMA fight,
Yeah.
which was Cyborg versus Gina Carano, and it scared the hell out of me. So
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd go down this road at all. And especially when I started training, I thought I'd just be doing grappling because I thought getting punched in the face wasn't something I'd want to do. I'd experienced my toddlers jump into my nose while I'm like trying to put shoes on them, and I was like, oh, that's a terrible feeling. I never want to have that. But it doesn't feel exactly like that to get hit in the face unless you get right on the nose.
Oh, I don't want to know.
So, but I found in training that I had an aptitude for it and I had a passion for it, and it quickly grew from there.
And is that what made you decide to come out to Las Vegas?
It is. I felt I had outgrown my gym in Washington. It was a great gym, but focused more on amateurs. We didn't work a lot of pro techniques, and I wanted to really take it to that next level because I feel like this is a really unique time in women's MMA. It's getting a lot of momentum, but it still has the possibility for a mom of three who didn't start training until she was 24.
That's inspiring, yeah.
Yeah, to make gains instead of most athletics where you have to have been training since you were 8 years old.
Yeah.
So very unique, and I wanted to go for it. So packed the family into a trailer, and we traveled down the coast and hit a bunch of different gyms trying to find out where our new home was going to be. And Vegas just spoke to us, which was really unexpected.
At Syndicate MMA, right?
At Syndicate, yes. It was the only gym we came to check out here. We had heard really good things about it, and we're very interested.
First time's the charm, right?
Yeah, apparently.
And also, I happened to notice on your Instagram, have you been working with Mike Dolce?
Yes, I just
weight
recently started working with him.
Okay.
I had been cutting pretty hard and was feeling very exhausted. Like I was getting a lot of strength losses, endurance losses. I was feeling like my legs were each like 300 pounds when I was training, and it was starting to really worry me. My coach hooked me up with Mike, and we made some tweaks to my diet, and all of a sudden I have so much more energy, and I'm perfectly on point with my weight, and I'm very excited to be working with him.
And so who's like one of your idols in MMA? Because you mentioned how right now, you know, women's MMA, there's so much momentum. Like, did a particular fighter kind of inspire you to want to kind of take that next step and get into the pros?
I can't say a particular fighter really inspired that. I have so much respect and love watching the sport so much, and I have definitely favorites and things like that. But I have to say, wanting to get into it was just more of that personal love
just
and that passion that
a
came
fire
from
within.
Yeah.
But who's your favorite fighter to watch, or one of them?
Definitely Joanna, and I'm going to.
Joanna. Yeah.
I mean, I got to watch that fight live when
she
2 weeks ago.
Claudia,
Yes, and that was amazing. I loved their first fight, and their second fight did not disappoint at all. Just the amount of heart and technique that they both have, it was very inspirational.
And what about in the UFC bantamweight division?
Let's see.
Did you watch the fight Amanda Nunes and Miesha Tate?
I did. I was really excited about that. I'm a big Nunes fan, and I really thought that she had a really good chance if she made it within those first 2 rounds.
Yeah, a lot of people said that because she's usually pretty quick, and we all saw that.
Yes.
And also Holly Holm fights Valentina, so there's so much going on in that division. If it were up to you, say, you know, you beat Aspen in this upcoming fight, like, when would you like to be in the UFC? Is there a particular timetable for you?
I definitely like to get a few more fights under my belt. The ladies in the UFC have, they're veterans and they're very talented, and this will only be my second pro fight, so I definitely want to be a little bit more tested before I get in there. But hopefully not too many more fights.
But that big fight coming up July 29th in Kansas, Missouri against Aspen Lad. Do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yes, Fighter Alias, who hooked us up, and Martial Arts Life and Maverick Unbranded. They're all great clothing sponsors and fabulous people run them.
Perfect. Well, best of luck to you at Invicta 18, making your anticipated Invicta debut. Thank you so much, Jessica, for your time. And
Thank you.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it.